Congratulations. I'm so glad you're here. Imagine, if you will, a young first time mom on a tropical island, a tiny little tropical island in southern Japan, and finding herself completely alone and not understanding that community outdoes willpower every single day. Hey guys, I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for being here. We're headed into February and we have an amazing guest. If you don't know me, my name is Bren Harris. I am the Warrior Mom. And I want you to know I founded Warrior Moms by Bren, which has become the Warrior Nation. We have so many aunties and uncles and grandparents that want to be part of the movement. We are here to tell you you are called for such a time as this. And my son was medically injured at 22 months of age. In the last 15 plus years, let me tell you what, we have walked straight through hell. Now we walk out of there like we own the place and take water back to those still in the fire. And if you pay attention at all to current events, caregiver fatigue is real. And tonight, our guest will be talking about the language of money. Before we get there, I just want to take you in the Wayback Machine. This is how Warrior Mom started. We had just moved from Japan, southern Japan, this tiny little tropical island, to Oklahoma, where all the grandparents lived. And we stayed with an older relative. And this is me with baby Zach, and not quite so blonde as I am now, and my, English pottery and my MacBook. And moms were being disrespected online. And I mean, something rose up in me, and I couldn't be silent, because when we're silent, that's complicit. And that's not going to happen on my watch. Please let us know in the chat, in the comments, where you're chiming in from. If you threw a dart at the middle of the US, right in the middle at Oklahoma, and we did move here many years ago because we wanted to be close to the grandparents to build that community for our son. And so fast forward, this is probably 6 or 8 months ago, we did one of our medical trips out of state, and you can see my son towers over me. In this picture, he has the giant headphones. He is officially diagnosed. In our house, we do not have anything. We have a diagnosis that affords us a number of subsidies, stipends, and financial help to get the therapies he needs to thrive. And he is officially diagnosed on the autism spectrum, level 3, yet to be very verbal. And we are so amazed at what community can do when it comes to healing. He is such a kind soul. And I am so thankful that I can share this journey with you. Is it pretty? No. Would I've ever chosen it in a million years? No. Would I change it? Probably not, because it's all about who he and I both are becoming along the way. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know, hey guys, great to see you. Let us know in the chat if you're on the live or on the replay. Oh, live from Oklahoma, live from Georgia, Seattle, and South Dakota. I have released 2 best-selling books in the last few months, and I am so glad you guys are here. We have Strong Island in the house. We have Harlem, New York, and Manhattan in the house. Great to see you guys. This is the picture that you guys voted on, and this, before we hit bestseller 2 times, I kept saying, vote now for the best-selling author picture. Our words have power. And that's really important, especially when we're talking about the language of money tonight. And this is the picture that you guys voted for, the best-selling author picture. And, I apologize in advance. I do not have a makeup and hair team or a professional photographer here tonight. It's just me and my ring lights. And what I love is that we can come together and I can say, hey, are we having a bad 5 minutes, or is it really a bad day? And I can tell you, I have probably cried more tears in the last 15 years than I have in my entire life. And it's heartbreaking, the misinformation and the disinformation in our culture. And it's okay to say, hey, who says, what's the workaround? Just because someone's in a white coat and they're the expert and they come in and said, your child will never do X, Y, and Z. I want you to hear my voice, warriors. Who says, what's the workaround? Because that's your opinion based on your training. You do not know my child the way I do. And that's how I have approached this. Not because I wanted to. I'm a lover by nature. Let's sing Kumbaya and have worship session. But, when you tell me my child will never do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to say, who says, what's the workaround? Hey guys, great to see you. If you're just joining us, oh, thank you. Amanda from Oklahoma says, amazing books. Highly recommend, bestseller for a reason. Thank you guys. Oh, Tennille from Georgia says, oh, not a baby anymore. No, he is not. My son towers over me. He's just over 6'1", and they're saying he's not done. So I will be wearing wedges and high heels and platforms for the rest of my life. I need to do some Tina Turner exercises so I can stay strong. And so you guys voted for the best-selling author picture. We have 2 books, and one is called The Major and the Musician, and this is the one that hit the bestseller list first. And I know it looks all sultry and stuff. It's really Indiana Jones meets Lara Croft, and there's a lot of mystery, intrigue, and suspense. It's a treasure hunt set on the island of Okinawa in southern Japan, and with a dash of romance thrown in. And I believe our culture just sexualizes everything. So I wanted this to be a love story for the ages. And this is exactly what we accomplished with our team. Now, the companion is, I believe that Jesus talked in parables for a reason, because facts tell, stories sell. Hear me, warriors. Facts tell, stories sell. And that's why we have a chapter of mystery. And at the end of each chapter, we have a lesson. Now, I've pulled those lessons out on the advice of many people smarter than I am and put them in the Warrior Mom Journal. So both of these books go together, and you can take this and run with it. One of my favorite verses in the Old Testament, and I'm going to Bren spin paraphrase here. Write the vision, make it plain so a runner can read it on the run. As warrior moms, as moms, as I joke, I've been teacher, warden, therapist because we do charter schools. So we only have school technically 1 day a week. And I am it. And I want you to know, I build in pockets of time. And if I can build a business like this and we can be in a half a dozen countries and 30,000 strong, you can too. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we get into the language of money tonight with our guest. Now, I know that you guys are probably wondering, how does she have time? Just enough light for the step I'm on. And that's because of community. Community will outdo willpower every single day of the week. And I love what James Clear says in his bestseller, 1% better every single day, because we're habit stucking. We have that absolute, we're breaking our day down into 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. That means I get 3 days in one. And we have that morning routine that we can step into so that we can walk in purpose and champion our calling, regardless of what's going on around us. And don't expect the people, hear me, warriors, don't expect the people closest to you to get it or support you. Hear me, warriors. Don't expect the people closest to you or in your own home to get it and support you. It's not their calling. It's between you and higher power. And it's important to stay in our lane and we walk out our purpose and champion our calling. All right. Without further ado, I am so glad you guys are here. And I cannot tell you how excited I am. We have a multi-award-winning financial advocate with us tonight, and he's going to talk specifically for special needs moms. Now, if this doesn't apply to you, feel free to share this with someone who does. As of this broadcast in February 2026, boys are diagnosed 1 in 31 in the United States for autism spectrum disorder. If that's not a pandemic, I don't know what is, or an epidemic. And it's time for us to take back control. All right, stand by. Hey, Tony, did you make the live?
Yes, I did. Good evening.
Oh, so glad you're here. Please share with the Warrior Nation a little bit about who is Tony Smith.
Okay, I'm Tony Smith, native Washingtonian, for going into my eighth decade. And for you that are saying eighth decade, just know that's in your 70s, not your 80s, folks. Um, Public servant all of my life, worked with the criminal justice system and federal government. Was married for almost 40 years until my queen transitioned a little over 10 years ago. Father of two, grandfather of two, officially retired, but eagerly growing and moving forward and
Mm.
attempting now to assist people in ways that not just benefit me, but help impact them to realize their dreams.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I have seen you grow. Tony and I are joined this mastermind for one percenters a few years ago, and it's amazing to watch how your purpose and your calling and the things you've been through in your life prepare you to help others and bring them hope. Can you share a little bit about your beautiful bride and what you learned through all that experience?
I can. I was married for 40 years. My wife was our icon, my icon as a wife, and my kids' icon as a mom. And while she was plagued with health challenges throughout our marriage, it didn't stop her from being at her best. And I mean her best. She delivered better than the U.S. Postal Service. Um, she was the um, accountant for our home, if you will. Well, we lived off of one income on purpose to fulfill priorities that we had, calling for one of us to be home, to be there face to face with our kids, to guide them, to nurture them. Almost 20 years into our marriage, my wife's health was declining, and where we were able to manage our income on a monthly basis quite well, we suddenly found ourselves in a situation where there was not enough money in the month. We could no longer juggle two or three tennis balls when it escalated to 19 or 20. We had to seek specialized professional services of uh, physicians, which escalated more prescriptions, more doctor's appointments, more procedures, hospitalizations, surgeries, to the point where our medical expenses exceeded what we were actually spending in our monthly income. This caused us to put our heads together, deal with our reality, which was that we couldn't do this on our own. We had to, and we agreed to seek legal intervention, found an attorney who we trusted, who served in our best interests, advised that we should give serious consideration to bankruptcy relief, and we did. Uh, painful, painful decision, but a necessary decision. Uh, Once we were able to secure it, we were able to reintroduce our budgeting protocols, which had been successful. And as a result of that, we were able to reestablish credit, good credit, within a 7 month period. At that time, years ago, it was suggested that for persons who were filing for personal bankruptcy, it may take as much as 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to do it in 7 months. And from then on, we were able to stay afloat, watch our kids grow, graduate, finish college, pursue higher education, actually see my oldest get married
Mm.
until almost 10 years ago when she transitioned. And it was at that point that I became the official CEO of the Smith Enterprise.
Warriors, did you hear that? Life is not always easy,
Mm-hmm.
and we take what we learn and what we face and what we grow through to take water back to those still in the fire. And I see you do this every single week, Tony. What's the one big takeaway you would let special needs moms know if they're faced with the possibility of bankruptcy?
I think when I think about special needs moms, it's important to know that every effort, every prayer, everything that you do that is geared towards servicing and fulfilling the needs of your child is an investment.
Mm,
It's an investment that I call gemstone deposits that yield increase and generate interest. And you do it, and you have been doing it for so long that it's a continuum.
hmm
Some have been able to advance over a period of time and have gained momentum and made bigger dividends, bigger strides, if you will. But those small steps continue to be significant, and they're building blocks toward even more things to come for your child.
Amen. And I love that you're saying they're deposits
Mm-hmm.
that generate interest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard to see when we're in the thick of it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And can you talk to me a little bit about resilience and the special needs mom when it comes to the language of money?
Uh, I refer to special needs moms as those who possess an unrelenting resolve. I say
Mm,
that to encourage them that they have significant value just based on the magnitude of the concerns that they have been appointed to deal with. And in doing so, those gems are important. They bring to the table, I believe, something that becomes inherent over time, and that is that balance and tenacity.
mm,
It's an unwavering grit that they have, uh, and because they deal with the ups and downs, the highs and lows, challenges and disappointments that are associated with trying to gain services for their child, they become lessons learned. They serve as investments that require study, that require risk, that result in trial and error. But those trial and errors become learning lessons. And just as we learn with monies, those learning lessons grow money. They're resilient, they exercise discipline, they believe and have faith that their child is going to thrive. And with all of these done consistently, it breeds a proficiency to continue doing it better.
that is, I don't know if you caught that, warriors. Our children thrive when we thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And when instead of saying, is this a bad 5 minutes or a bad day, we can have perspective. And I'm not minimizing that. I'm not minimizing that at all because there's a lot of services that say they will help us and then they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it results in some very terrible results, as we saw in the news this week with the autism family in Australia that decided
Mm-hmm.
to take everyone's life. I'm a firm believer that we are resilient because of community. And when we
Mm-hmm.
understand the language of money, so that we can have those dividends and that interest, we can be intentional and control the narrative. That's when we stay resilient. And I love how you talk about dollars and cents and all that good stuff. Can you share a little bit more about the tenacity that it takes? I mean, you guys declared bankruptcy instead of 7 years, you were able to be back on your feet in 7 months. How does that happen?
Um, I believe it happens based on, for my wife and I,
Mm-hmm.
having a spiritual foundation. We were two people who knew firsthand we could not do it alone. There had to be a God of our understanding that was a guiding force that had designed our coming together and everything that was going to unfold long before we were born. This was something that not only helped us as a couple, I think it reinforced making sure that two hearts were going to become one in light of trials and tribulations and challenges that we were going to face, not only as a couple, but as a family down the road. Um, it turns out to have been our foundation.
Mm.
And it also helped us in ways where when the monies are tight, you still find joy because it's those little things that you come to appreciate, seeing them as blessings, being humble for the fact that knowing it could have been worse, got blessed, and that the challenge, the struggle is temporary. The sun will shine at the end of the day.
Oh, did you hear that, warriors? The struggle is temporary and the sun will shine again. And it doesn't always feel like that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so when we don't feel like that's the way it's going to go, what's your go-to? Do you have a special verse or a mantra or a quote that brings you through?
For me, I simply say, and especially in more recent times,
Mm-hmm.
angels are watching over me. And when I say it and when I hear it, it brings me to tears.
Mm.
The fact that we have come to meet one another in community confirms that those angels are not only in heaven, they're on earth.
Whew.
And they help to elevate me in my quest to become the best niche dollars and cents coach that I can be.
That's amazing. I'm gonna take a pause here and share some of these comments.
Okay.
It says unrelenting, true grit. Angels are watching over me. We are able to show that moms of special needs children have unrelenting resolve, unwavering grit. Warrior Mom Nation vibes, triple exclamation point. And I love that we can come through and say the sun will shine again at the end of the day. Preach, Tony. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I just want you to know you're making a huge difference. And I know we didn't talk about this, but I would love for you to briefly talk to our special needs moms. Just give your quick overview of banks versus credit unions.
I think it's important to know this. Banks are looking out for shareholders. The more money you have, the more you'll benefit from banks versus credit unions. And I'm qualified that federal credit unions, you are an owner because any benefits that are generated monetarily from any credit union are infused back into it to service the patron.
Wow.
So bottom line is you have some concerns. The credit union can sit down with you and help you to establish certain things that will assist you. Let's say, for example, in your particular situation, you know you're setting aside monies each year to make sure that your child receives a certain type of service, be it school, therapy, whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
Credit unions can help you sit down and design a plan that will create folders for you to take monies out of whatever income you have coming in to put in those folders, such that come time of payment, you either have sufficient monies to pay it all off, or at least monies to cushion what you may ordinarily have had to pay completely out of pocket.
And I'm writing that down. Federal credit unions.
Federal credit unions.
Not just local credit unions.
Right. Federal credit unions.
Okay. And that's really helpful because no one really volunteers this information because as a warrior mom, we're in the thick of it and we're like, okay, when's the last time I ate? When's the last time I slept? You know, we're focused on being teacher, warden, therapist as opposed to just mom.
Right. Fees that patrons may pay in a bank normally may be more costly than credit unions. Credit unions will also be more welcoming of people that are trying to refinance their home.
Oh,
These are just little things that I think people just take for granted when it comes to their banking. But those intricacies, I think, are extremely valuable and important for persons that patronize federal credit unions.
And now, do you have to be a federal employee to take advantage of federal credit unions?
Usually with the federal credit union, if you have anyone that you know who is a participant,
Mhm.
they can refer you and you can get in. No problem.
Oh, that's exciting. And so many things we don't know what we don't know until we
Hmm.
ask.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Now, I would love for people to learn more directly from you. Can you
Hmm.
let the Warrior Nation know sort of where they can find you in the next few days?
Yes, I have a weekly podcast every Wednesday evening, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook. And it's called, well, my Facebook name is Anthony Smith. So if you go to Anthony Smith on Facebook, you will see Dollars and Cents podcast, Anthony Smith's Dollars and Cents podcast. Uh, and right now it's on Facebook, but I am expanding. Um, I usually let people understand on my intro that in this podcast, we make sense out of nonsense, just
Nice.
so that people understand that we're not just talking about money's negotiating strategies. We're talking about all of the dynamics that may be associated in what your course of action will be to grow monies. I suggest to people that growing monies equates with your money language based on your circumstance, needs, and priorities. So my money language will not look like Bren's. Bren's won't look like someone else's. It should be tailored toward your needs and regularly monitored to determine whether or not you're hitting your mark.
Oh, beautiful. And you guys check out the comment on the when we repost this as a reel and on Facebook, it's in there. And you can check that out tomorrow night at 5:30 Eastern. I forgot to put Eastern
Mhm.
on Facebook. Anthony Smith, the Dollars and Cents podcast. Please chime in. Thank you so much, Tony. Be
Thank you.
blessed.
Thank you.
Warriors, I am so proud of you for being here. Sometimes we feel like just because we've been with the same financial institution for a decade or so, that it's just too much trouble to change. And that's kind of where we're finding ourselves because my son's about to hit 18. And it's important that I know the best fit for him so that he can have an account where he manages his Social Security disability as well as his disability waivers, and that we are being good stewards because I'm a firm believer, and we believe this throughout the Warrior Nation. We're faithful with little, then we're blessed with much. Hear me, warriors. When we're faithful with little, we become blessed with much. And I think it's so important that we understand community out will outdo willpower any day of the week. And when we lock arms and we're able to make the next right decision together and get this kind of information, we can be better together. I'm Bren Harris, the Warrior Mom, with the Warrior Nation, your source for truth, transparency, and trust. Warriors unite.